Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. I want to welcome everybody who's here in the room and everybody who is joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. We're going to get started right away with our musician for the day, Marilyn Gale. Here we go.
Good morning. I'm so glad I am who I am. I'm so glad I am who I am. I'm so glad I am who I am. Thank you to heaven. Heaven is a place on earth. Heaven is a place in mind. It's the place where we learn our worth. We can go there anytime. I'm so glad you are who you are. I'm so glad you are who you are. I'm so glad you are who you are. Thank you to heaven. Heaven is a place on earth. Heaven is a place in mind. It's the place where we learn our worth. We can go there anytime. I'm so glad we are who we are. 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 Thank you to heaven. Thank you to heaven. Thank you to heaven. I feel the love of God. It's in me, it's in you. Sing it with me. I feel the love of God. It's in me, it's in you. I hear the joy of God. It's in me, it's in you. Come on, I hear it. I hear the joy of God. It's in me, it's in you. I know the good. I know the good of God. It's in me, it's in you. I know it. I know the good of God. It's in me, it's in you. I see the beauty of God. It's in me, it's in you. I see the beauty. I see the beauty of God. It's in me, it's in you. in me, it's in you, it's in me. It's in me, it's in you. One more time. It's in me, it's in you.
All right. Good morning again. For those of you that joined us while we were singing, my name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am honored and privileged to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. This is a time when I get to share with us and remind us and share with new folks who we are as a community and what we're about. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in spiritual practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, each other, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures, and we intentionally promote our community and our teachings. And one of the things that we do every Sunday morning to put our inclusivity into demonstration is our candle lighting ceremony. Jill is going to come assist me with this. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles of love and law. We light the 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. Thank you, Jill. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Marilyn Gale for our next community song.
You are a treasure. Open up your mind. Let
Thank you, Marilyn. So before I get into the announcements, just a reminder that our now former music director, Jeff Wright, they're in the process of moving to Eureka. And so for the next little while through October, we will alternate between Marilyn Gale and Love Eternal. And Love Eternal is working on learning some of the common New Thought chants, so they'll have some of that. And I encourage you, like Marilyn Gale's songs, to learn some new lyrics, to implant some new songs that when things happen and you need to roll up an index in your mind of something to hum along, you're developing a new library of songs. So there's life is just a consistent change. And so here's another opportunity to lean into change. It's just really that simple. So this is our time of announcements. For those of you in the room, this will be an obvious duh, because we're in the room. This is mostly for you folks joining us virtually. We are open. And we have a bead system in place that we invite you to use or not use at your pleasure. We only ask that if you have been exposed to COVID, or if you have anything that you think is remotely, possibly in some realm in the human level contagious, stay home, join us on YouTube, Facebook, or Zoom, and when you are better, come join us. Because while we want to share most everything, there are some things we do not want to share with one another. Communicable diseases of all types being that category. If you are here this morning and you find out over the next week that you were exposed to COVID anytime last week, because sometimes that happens. You have been exposed and you don't know it, and then somebody gets sick and then they call you and tell you, give me a shout so that we can do our due diligence with contact tracing. If you choose, your identity will remain anonymous. If you want that announced, we're happy to do that too. People have all kinds of choices in this world. Okay, Walking with the Rev. Walking with the Rev got canceled last week because the air quality index sucked. And none of us needed to be out there sucking in all of the particles from the fires. That seems to have calmed down, and the rain we're getting today and tomorrow should help that. So we're back on with Walking with the Rev, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We meet at the parking lot above the North Star Mine Museum. They're at the corner of Freeman Lane and Allison Ranch Road. If it is raining, I'm not coming. Just so you know. Yeah, I will walk around my living room, but I'm not going to come walk in the rain, because being raised in the South, my mama taught me to come in out of the rain. So we're going to go with that. Manifestation Monday Mastery Group. If you are working on manifesting anything in your life, come play with us. We meet every Monday night from 5:30 to 6:30, and we explore how to access and use spiritual principle to manifest the desires of your heart. It's not about working harder. It's not about making connections or influencing anybody. It is about changing you so that you are living in alignment that creates the desires of your heart. Thursday night, every Thursday night except the fourth Thursday, because that's when we have our board meeting, we have a practical application of spiritual principles group, also known as How Do I Apply Spiritual Principles to This? Because things come up in this physical realm that really stretch us and challenge us to figure out, how do I apply spiritual principle to this? And so this is the group where we take that stuff apart. It really is very unstructured, 5:30 to 6:30 Thursday nights. Bring whatever issue is up for you, and we will in community take that apart and see what we can come up with. This coming Wednesday night, we are joining all of Centers for Spiritual Living that have chosen to participate in viewing the new documentary, it's a Louis Schwartzberger's new film, 40 years in the making, Gratitude Revealed. That is happening promptly at 4 p.m. I have no control over starting the movie other than to turn on the system. It's being played at 4 p.m., so it's not like I can wait for you. I can't stop it and rewind it. So if you want to catch the beginning, be here in time to be seated and have your focus in this direction by 4 p.m. We are asking for a $10 to $20 donation, and no one is turned away for lack of funds. So research shows us that developing and practicing gratitude changes everything. It changes our health. It changes our environment. It changes your bank account. Just saying. It could happen. So this Wednesday, the 21st, 4 p.m., we're going to check that out. Okay, First Friday Fun. October 7th is the first Friday of October, and we will be watching the documentary Bill W. Now, you might think this is all about Alcoholics Anonymous because he was the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, and you would be incorrect. This is about the life of a human being who dedicated himself to an inner calling that oftentimes he didn't even understand, and how it profoundly changed his life, how it, walking through, the part that was most significant to me in this movie, and I've seen it like 4 times now, is how no matter how bad it got, he never abandoned that inner voice that said, this is yours to do. And he was homeless and jobless and penniless for a lot longer in recovery than I knew about, because that's just how it played out. But he stuck to the mission. He stuck to that fire that was inside of him, and that continues to change people's lives, millions of people's lives to this day. October's a busy month. October 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We are honored to sponsor it's like a one-man show. Rabbi David Azen has put together from his experience called God Lied to Me. And it is about why the whole story of the Garden of Eden is still very much important today for us to understand what's happening in our world and how to get back to a God that we can talk to. I encourage you to check that out. Tickets are available through our Square store. There's links to that in our newsletter. If you're currently not getting our newsletter, the quickest way to accomplish that is to go to our website, www.sierracenter.org. When you sign into our website, a delightful little pop-up window pops up on the screen and gives you an opportunity to sign up for the newsletter. If you don't want to sign up, just click off of that link and it'll go away. But if you do want the newsletter that comes out weekly, typically on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, telling you what's happening in that week and beyond, that's the best way to do it. Everything is linked directly, so you can just click on which date you want to attend. It'll take you right to that link in the Square store, and you can purchase your tickets. Okay. Let's take a breath. So this is our time of inward shift. And I invite you to just let all of the the information stuff fall away because it'll all be right there available for you. And begin to really listen. Listen to what jumps out for you. Listen for what sparks you. Our community value this morning is service. And service is a lot of things. What we're having right now is a service. And there are people here who are in service during the service in order to provide the service. And service is an interesting concept. And I'm going to tie all this in later during the talk, but I submit to you that we are each always in service to something all of the time. It's just a matter of what we're serving and how we're serving. And mostly, are we aware that what we're doing is a service? And so I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to ring the bowl 3 times. We'll do 3 collective ohms, and then we'll go into a brief meditation, and I will bring us out of that with our opening affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment. one infinite, ever-present, allness. This one is perfect peace, infinite intelligence. It is the power of life itself. It is life itself. It is that singular substance out of which all is created. Created by the activity of Creator itself that we call law, principle. This is my life. This is the life of every thing, every being, every one, every individualized, exquisitely individualized, magnificent expression of divinity in form, fully infused with all that it is. It operates in service to its creation, without interruption, without hesitation. And so I know, I claim, I affirm, I declare it to be true, that this is a time of this infinite one experiencing itself, expressing itself, communing with itself as its creation, as this creation called Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, as the technology that allows us to make this available, as each heart that is here to receive whatever is alive in them to be received. Different, magnificently different and individualized for each one. So I know this time together is perfect. I know, and so I celebrate. I celebrate that it's already done, that every moment of it has been divinely orchestrated, divinely celebrated, divinely made so by creation itself. So I can let go. I can let go and simply be used by that which lives within me to speak to itself. So I celebrate, I let go, and I let it be. I invite you to join me as we say together, and so it is. So this is our time of affirmation. I will read it through once. I invite you to just take it in, and then we will read it together. The desire of God is awake and alive in me. Let's say that together. The desire of God is awake and alive in me. And so it is.
The world can be a crazy place. Just look around and see. When my heart is filled with grace, it all looks pretty good to me. Take a stone, drop it in a pond, ripples begin to spread. Find some good to focus upon, leave behind all dread. I release and allow increase to come to me. I believe the gifts I perceive come to does set me free. I'm filled with awe and wonder. I'm in the energy. I release and allow increase to come to me. I believe the gifts I perceive come to me. I believe, I believe, I believe in my destiny. I achieve, I achieve, I achieve my goal of harmony. I'm in the flow, I'm in the flow, I'm in the energy. I release and allow increase to come to me. I believe the gifts I perceive come to me. I believe the gifts I perceive come to me. I release and allow increase to come to me. Come to me. Come to me.
Go ahead, flip that. Let's take a breath together. If we did nothing else than that all morning, we'd all walk out of here much more informed about life. Isn't that amazing? So this month we're looking at how to make the system act the way you want. We're looking at the awe, everyday wonder of work. And work, for many people, is a dirty word. For many people, we hear work and we think job. And for some people, job is actually a delight. And for some people, work is actually fun. And it may... That was interesting. And it may have absolutely nothing to do with the tasks that are part of their work. Un momento, por favor. Instant change-o. There we go. When one thing doesn't work, we'll do something else. Okay, back to work, which all that was part of. Isn't that interesting? Now, here's the thing. We can look at that as a work problem, or we can just look at it as something that happened while we were at work. Right? What if we, because you do with whatever you want with that little moment of technical stuff, but I assure you it will occupy 0% of my thought for the rest of the day, because it's done, right? It's done. Today's talk title is Living Our Dreams.
Now, most of us would not think about living our dreams in the context of work, right? Most of us think about work as something that is typically in the way of us living our dream, yeah? If I didn't have to go to work every day, I could live my dream. Well, what if, just on the possibility that there is some factual accuracy to what we're learning in quantum mechanics and quantum physics, let's take religion off the table a minute. Let's just put science up for examination. What if what we're learning in that realm is actually accurate and you're responsible for what you're creating? Because that's what quantum physics says. That's not religion, that's physics. Right? It says that what you observe in thought shows up in your life. New Thought just happened to be ahead of the curve, as was philosophy, as were many religions, that they recognized that as spiritual principle. And just like every organization, personalities get in the way. And so every religion, and we're not exempt from that, folks. Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, is not exempt from the activity of personalities being enacted over principle. We're not. We're in the process of, even as I speak, of a special vote at the organizational level, and it's been really interesting to watch some of us stand in principle and some of us stand in personality, and to watch the two collide. And that's the work of an organization. It happens. Don't make nobody bad, don't make nobody wrong, makes everybody having a human experience and practicing principle, practicing. None of us have arrived at 100%, I got this mastered, never gonna have a human hiccup in my life yet. And if you think you have, just wait. Because life will show up to confirm that you still are very much in a human body, because that's what we're supposed to be. Right? So what does it mean to live our dream? Well, first of all, I think we have to understand what a dream is, right? Physiologically, a dream is brain activity that happens when we're asleep. So let's go with that. Let's go with that a minute. You have a dream while you're asleep, and you wake up going, yeah, that's it. That's what I want my life to be. Well, I submit to you that that requires you to have woken up, right? To have an awareness that you even had a dream, you had to wake up. Right? So perhaps the first step in living our dream is to wake up. Is to wake up. I think the second thing that is absolutely critical is that we be very clear what the dream is. And most of us are profoundly confused between the what and the how. Okay? What your dream is very different than the how. So when we're thinking about, I'll use myself, my dream job, right, doesn't exist. But there are many, many jobs in which I can manifest my dream. My dream is to be not to do, but to be 100% immersed in full-time ministry in a way that grows me, in a way that grows everyone that I interact with, and I mean everyone, the garbage collector, the clerk in the store, not just on Sundays, full-time ministry that compensates me in a manner that allows me to live freely in this human form. That's my dream. How that happens? Right now, it's happening here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. But that's a how. That's not a what. Right? And we get really confused about our what. What is your dream? What is it you want to experience? What is it that you want to manifest? Where you work, the job you do, that's all how. The what is going to show up. And that's why many of us aren't living our dream. We're not experiencing our dream job because we're looking for the how, expecting it to give us the what. We got the cart before the horse. And it doesn't work that way. Right? Let's take bowling. Right? Bowling can teach you how to live your dreams. Now, I know that might sound crazy, but it's not. All right? They have these magnificent things at the bowling alley called bumpers. Right? And if you know what bumpers are, they're these big things that they put in those uber magnetic gutters on the side. I'm convinced they have magnets in them, and at the center of every bowling ball is a much larger magnet that magically attracts that ball, wham, right to the gutter every time. So bumpers fill in those gutters. So you at least have a shot at getting the pins, right? That's what creation has done for us. It has given us a shot at hitting the pins. But what it's not going to do is when you release the ball, it's not going to grab it and go, oh, Rafe is way off track. Let me move the ball over here and line it up so he gets a strike. Creation is not going to do that for you. Creation is going to respond to exactly where you release the ball. And so if you release it on the side, it's going to go down the side. The bumpers in this analogy are spiritual principles. And spiritual principle, that's the impersonal part of creation. Right? And we get confused. I hear us over and over again, well, Spirit told me. Really? Get a phone call, text message, memo? What is this Spirit that speaks to you? We put God outside of us and give it a different name. We put creation outside of us and give it a different name. We're still putting it outside of us, and that's always going to be a problem. Stand in the truth that I heard. I heard. Not something told me. I heard. The voice within me said, do this. Because what that voice is within you is spirit. It's not outside of you. It doesn't tell you something. It speaks as you, within you, and you hear you. Right? You know the desire of your heart, whether you're aware of it or not. That's a whole different conversation. but you always know it because you are it. And when we begin to listen differently, when we begin to stand in the power of I am, things start changing. Those are the bumpers. You already are. You don't have a gutter in your lane. There's no place of failure. Because here's the good news and the bad news. Everything you think and believe shows up as your life. Everything you think and believe shows up as your life. If you don't like what is showing up, own that you are the one creating that and learn how to change it. We have this little phrase, change your thinking, change your life. And it sounds so simple, it can come across as dismissive, but I promise you, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. So if you go bowling and you know that there's no possibility of failure, are you going to roll the ball with more confidence? Of course you are. Because now the gutter's not even a possibility anymore. And so I invite you to begin to create from that same perspective that you cannot fail. You can fool yourself. Let's be really clear. You can fool yourself, and you can tell yourself you're creating X, Y, and Z when you're really creating A, B, and C because you're unwilling to examine your actual beliefs and you're just trying to sugarcoat. But you can't fail to manifest your beliefs. Right? We have a sign there on the back wall that says, "A world that works for all." And I wonder how differently we would show up if we understood that everything we do is work that impacts all. See, I don't care if you're a garbage collector or if you make dental floss for a living. You're impacting somebody's life. Okay? All hail the people who make toilet paper. All of our lives would be very different without that work. And how often when you're in the grocery store do you shop with a consciousness of celebrating the work that went into what you're purchasing? The work of the chemists that came up with the idea, the work of the inventors, the work of the people doing it, the work of the people shipping it, the work of the people stocking it. See, I think if we all approached work from that perspective, we might feel a whole lot different about consumerism. We might do consumerism differently, and we might actually begin to find joy and celebration in our own job, no matter what it is. If we took a moment to understand that everything you do is in service to all of life. Let me say that again. Take this in. Everything you do, you are doing in service to all of life. Whether you're retired, whether you're actively working, whatever it is, because there's no place where we're separate. Now, I find that to be an amazing way to think about work. That every word I speak, every thought I think, every action I take is in service to all of life. Not just humanity, but all of life. The grass grows differently because you're on the planet. Sand blows differently in the dunes because you're on the planet. Remove you, everything changes. We all work together. I want to wrap up with this. We have this sign back here by the musicians, joyfully co-creating beloved community. What we need to understand is what we're co-creating with, because most of us think it's a who, it's a what. We're not co-creating with some personified spirit. There is no personified spirit. There's just consciousness that we call spirit. We use those words interchangeably. We're co-creating with principle. We're co-creating with law that operates exactly the same no matter who you are. When we hear the term impersonal, when Ernest Holmes talks about God, Spirit, Creator is impersonal, he's not saying it doesn't care. He's referring to the activity of creation that we call law, principle, that operates exactly the same no matter who you are or how you use it. Law is impersonal. It just operates. It just receives what you give it and goes to work creating it. It doesn't second guess you. It doesn't suggest that you take a pause and rethink it. It doesn't alter, it doesn't look at your blueprint and go, yeah, that part right there is a little bit off. It's going to make the whole thing a little wonky, so let me correct that for him. Doesn't do that. It just says, and sometimes I need concrete human examples. So it's like my imagination is research and development, right? And my thoughts and my beliefs are the work order. And law receives the work order, and law is the manufacturing plant. And it has every possible material that is needed to manufacture whatever work order it's given. And so that's the impersonal nature. It just receives the work order. Here we go, puts it on the conveyor belt, and form is the product. And law produces the product, and the product shows up as our life. And if we don't like the product, you can't send it back. See, unlike Amazon, you get your package, you open it up, ooh, no, thought that was going to be cool. Nope, send it back. We don't get to do that. But what we do get to do is go, that's not what I anticipated. Let me rethink this. And we go back to research and development. We ferret out our hidden beliefs. We ferret out what showed up as something we didn't expect, and we shift our thinking. We shift our beliefs. We send that new work order in, and voila. That's how we live our dreams. But first, you got to get clear what your dream is. And in order to even know you have a dream, you got to wake up. Let's take this into prayer. And so knowing that there is still only one everything, one allness, one singular substance, infinite possibility that creates out of itself, by itself, to be itself. I know that I must be that in form, exquisitely, uniquely, one of a kind, never to be repeated expression of a dream of the divine. That the divine is living its dream as me. And what is true of me is true of each and every expression of creation. The divine is living its dream as its creation. And knowing that we each are infused with the power to create that never stops. We are creating the life we live. And so I speak my word, claiming and affirming that we wake up. That we wake up with clarity and conviction and courage to risk everything by stepping into this is my dream. And holding that image and allowing it to manifest us. Allowing life to live us. And we celebrate. We celebrate each magnificent moment. We celebrate each messy moment equally, knowing that all of it is life unfolding as us. So grateful. So grateful to know that my life is equipped with bumper guards, that I cannot fail. And so knowing I cannot fail, I let go, I release, and I simply step into the activity of life itself. I invite you to join me as we say together, and so it is. Let's take a breath. So this is our time of conscious giving. Conscious giving, in its very title, is just that. To be conscious, to be intentional in your giving, knowing that your giving sustains this center, that your giving gives through Sierra Center to our private nonprofit partners, and that you are keeping us alive. And so thank you for that. Let me turn the screen back on behind me. We'll say our giving affirmation together. Here we go. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Please receive the gifts.
We are dancing in spirit, each of us knows our part. Sing it with me if you'd like. We are dancing in spirit, each of us knows our part. We are dancing in spirit, each of us knows our part. One more time. We are dancing in spirit, each of us knows our part.
All right. And so I speak a word of blessing, a word of gratitude for the infinite in the form of money. I speak a word knowing, claiming, affirming that Sierra Center for Spiritual Living is richly blessed and sustained by the very source that created it, the divine. I let that be the truth of this center, knowing that it is abundantly blessed through the consciousness of giving. And so it is. All right. Thank you, Marilyn Gale, for your service this morning. Thank you, thank you. Thank each of you for being here. Thank you, Jill Wiggins, for our beautiful flower this morning and for being our greeter and our candle lighter and our usher. Thank you, Diana, for being our PowerPoint person. And thank you, Juanita, for all things keeping the Reverend with no sleep presentable for the day. Thank you. All right, I think that's it. If you happen to know of any musicians who are interested in functioning as a musician in Spiritual Center, have them give me a shout, and we'll see where we go. All right. All yours, Miss Marilyn. Oh, nope, I lied.
Hang on.
I didn't mean to lie, but I did. Let's do our benediction. Let's stand and do our benediction. I have to move the basket so I can read. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called a dream.
It is this thing called a dream.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called awake.
It is this thing called awake.
I know it.
I know it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I sense it.
I sense it.
Because I am it.
Because I am it.
And so it is.
And so it
And now Marilyn's going to sing us out.
The presence of Spirit